Hey, good afternoon, race fans. Welcome to a blank screen, and there it is. It takes over real quick. We are back here at Box3 Motorsports. My name is Adam Thursby. I am your host today, the one and only, the only host. I'm not the one anymore, but I am the only one today. Mr. Philip Milwee unable to join me, so I will be sitting up here in the booth all by myself. I want to welcome you all in. Happy birthday to Diesel in the chat. And no, you cannot have an automatic win just because it's your birthday. But happy birthday to you anyway, sir. I hope you have a great birthday. That would be fantastic. Hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend and not getting themselves into any trouble as we get ready here for racing at Oulton Park. Ma'am, sorry, ma'am. I do apologize for that. I try to never assume. It's sim racing. It's like 90% guys. You try not to. As I say that as we watch Josie out on track right now during this free practice session that's getting started. We are at Oulton Park today, and we are going to have a lot of fun. I personally do not like this track. I think this track is scary, narrow. It's not conducive to passing very much. There are zones. However, it's Blue said it in the drivers meeting. It's a go-kart track, so it'll be curious to see how the drivers do today here at Oulton, looking to set some times down and win this race. We are in week 5 of season 5. And what that means is we only got 2 left. Indianapolis next week, and then Bathurst at the beginning of March. And that will be the end of it right there for season 5. Coming back then, of course, with season 6. We've got a lot going on. There'll be some special events coming, I have no doubt. We just finished the GT3 Endurance Series with Trackalicious and 949. That happened yesterday with 12 Hours of Bathurst. Those guys did a great job over there covering that at Trackalicious. I saw they had a great crowd watch. It looked like a really fun race. But now we move on to Oulton Park. Lots of drivers for this Pro-Am and Am class split. 18 on track so far. Now qualifying today is going to be just a little bit different. For qualifying, the Am drivers will go out on track first. Let's get switched over to our view. So the Am drivers being those, being those with the red tags on their numbers there on your screen. Sometimes the software does weird things and it switches the placards for the drivers. But Am drivers will go out on track first for 7 minutes. So 1 minute to do a setup, 7 minutes to get a lap in. After that, the Pro-Am drivers will get the next 7 minutes to qualify. Today's race is 30 minutes long here for Pro-Am and Am class drivers, which will be followed by a 45-minute race for our Silver and Pro class. As we take a look, and just let me bring up the info here. We're going to talk a little bit about the standings right now. Am class standings, Jester Flump currently leading with 166 points. Bruce Hopkins, however, only 6 points back with 160 in second. Stephen Music in third. But Kenny O'Connor, Frank Reynolds, both in contention there in the top 5. Frank Reynolds hurt a little bit with a do not start on round 2. So Nat lost him 5 points there. Jace Wright in 6th. Terrell Saints Taylor 7th right now. Jace Wright in 6th, having missed the last 2 races. If Jace comes back today. Justin Secombe back out on track with us. Your Pro-Am standings, though, if we jump over there, Justin Secombe leads that. You see the time up there on your screen. Justin Secombe leads right now in Pro-Am. Gian Cardoso and Stephen Tomazik round out your top 3 with Edward Walsh and Josie Austin in the top 5. Robert Hepburn, Bob Charlton, Burke Beat, Tristan Yonendijk, and your boy Blue sitting in 10th right now. Again, a lot of these points very close. Gian Cardoso with 155, Stephen Tomazik 149, Edward Walsh 146, and Josie Austin 145. And we could even go further. Robert Hepburn 142. So if you look from 155 in a 15-point mashup right there, you've got 5 drivers. So things are going to get spicy these last 3 races of the season, starting today here at Oulton Park. Coffin, you should never do that. Never, ever do that. I don't know why you want to do that. No one should just send it. Although T1 here at Oulton, not as bad as T1 at the NERB. So hopefully everybody can keep it clean. But is that negated by the narrowness of this track? Right? Does the narrowness of this track negate the fact that turn 1 is not as tight as it is at, say, Nürburgring and other places? I think it does. You know, I can tell you from experience, racing something like a TCR, Formula V, those smaller cars here at Oulton Park, not so bad. But when it comes to these GT3 cars, man, I don't even know how this ended up on the schedule. And bumpy in ACC, very bumpy. You get bounced around a lot here at Oulton Park. T1 in the hairpin, full send, yes. Somebody's already knocked the tires out of the way, so that's good. We need to get that done early in the practice session. Hey, I did that wrong. It's Pit Wall in the chat. Pit Wall in the chat, not Pit Link. And already it has begun. Frank Reynolds and your boy Blue making contact on track today during a practice session. And Steven Tomazic lights it up, getting ahead of Justin Sacombe during this practice by a hefty amount, about 0.7 of a second there. Wow. Very spry. But Tomazic, and looking to extend that right now, 0.2 up on his fastest. We haven't even gotten to qualifying yet, so we're not too worried about it here. Justin Sacombe in second, Gian Cardoso in third. Your boy Blue sitting in fourth right now in the pit. Doing well for himself. Good to see Blue up there. Now getting bumped down to fifth, but Steven Tomazic, wow. Josie Austin jumping into second, now running 0.3 up. But Steven Tomazic, if we look there, 0.6 up on that fastest. He's going to do our first 133 today if he can hold on to it. To have 133s this early. Great driving on his part. There it is, 133.6. Wow. Holding purple in sectors 1 and 3. Now today there will be a mandatory pit stop for fuel and tires, and I believe it's for fuel and tires, and it will require, there will be a pit window. There should be a 10-minute pit window right in the middle of this race. John Rulin back today. As this session finishes out, we'll get over to qualifying. So again, your AM drivers will go out first. They will have the first 7 minutes to qualify. 1 minute, you know, being 1 minute or 30 seconds really, I guess, for, unless they adjusted the time. But we're talking probably 7.5 minutes to get their setup in. Get their setup in and get a flying lap done in 7 minutes. And then our silver drivers will head out on, or I'm sorry, our Pro-Am drivers will head out on track and do the same. Now, I'm unsure if that'll happen for the Pro and Silver race, as this was discussed during the drivers meeting, and I think it was a quick, you know, last minute thing. So I'll have to see if that is done the same way for our Pro and Silver class race after this. Get ready, and there we are, set for qualification today. Now 19 drivers on track total. Some drivers out very quickly on track. Even Music being one of them. Danny O'Connor heading out now. We'll stick with Steven Music here for a little bit as he heads through Britain's. So again, only AM class drivers qualifying right now. We'll see what kind of times. This is actually going to be kind of nice too, that we can, you know, get that. I mean, I know we can get it throughout qualifying, but to have that split, I think might be nice as we can watch. And a spin there from Steven Music, hooking that curb. Luckily not on his flying lap, but how much is that going to cost him here as he comes across the line, not quite at full speed? It's going to be nice to see where the AM drivers sit and where that delineation is, and be able to kind of catch it in a slower manner than we normally do during qualifying. As I said, Steven Music on his first flying lap today. I just noticed we do have a border around the screen today, and I think I know why. We will fix that after qualifying before the race gets started. This onboard view lets you see just how bumpy Oulton Park is here. The car constantly being jumbled around. He's even able to clear that curve this time, not pulling himself off into the grass. I get the feeling this will not be his fastest lap, no matter where he lands. As he comes across with a 138.962. Again, though, very slow coming across the line to start that lap due to not having the speed with the dip into the grass. Kenny O'Connor now. Even Music currently third in the series in that 456 Ferrari. Frank Reynolds now jumps to the top with a 137.7. Yeah, you can see there Steven Music, like I said, sitting in third across the board right now for the season. And with a 138.962, currently the slowest of all the qualifiers. We'll see if he's able to jump it back up. I have a feeling he'll be able to. And now Jester Flume, our current series leader, with a 135.867. John Rulin takes over purple. And purple in 2 sectors. Did a Porsche impersonation, yeah, probably. You know, the thing about Oulton is, and again, not one of my favorite tracks, really mainly down to the narrowness because of, you know, is the reason why. It's not a horrible circuit. I actually enjoy driving here, but I just, not in GT3 cars. Kenny O'Connor right now showing purple. You see that flashing purple border around his name. Currently faster by 2.2 seconds over his fastest previous of 137.9. See if Kenny's able to hold on to this. Now 2.4 seconds up. There it is, 135.475. A couple 135s, our top 3 all sitting there. Or I'm sorry, 135s today. Our top 3 in AM class sitting in that zone. Steven Music was able to get himself up there a little bit with a 137.455 on his last lap. Interesting there. O'Connor only taking the fastest lap, but only by pulling 1 purple sector. John Rulin holding sector, you see here, yeah, holding sector 1, and Jester Floop holding sector 2 purples right now. But Kenny O'Connor, again, flashing purple means he wants to extend it a little bit, and it's not going to happen this time. Steven Music showing half a second up on his fastest. We bring up that personal best delta to see where these guys are. Frank Reynolds doing very well today here at Oulton Park, currently sitting in 6th for AM class. Terrell Sainz Taylor unable to set a lap so far. Thank you, Diesel. You're right. Why is it like that? Yeah, but TG, here would be my question for you. What does that have to do with the UK? Because I don't see their ground over there freezing real hard every winter. Right? So you would think, why would this track get like that? What would cause that? Jace Wright now jumping. Oh, I was just about to jump up with him, and Jace Wright sets the fastest lap for AM class at a 135.157. So a full 3/10 over Kenny O'Connor. As we now see these guys start to head back to the pits. There's Jester Floop currently in 5th, but still holding purple in sector 1 and 3. It's just not enough to get him up there into the top 3 right now. I don't see the UK getting a lot of snow and ice. It doesn't seem to me that these tracks would be freezing. The ground would be freezing and heaving these tracks. Like, I would expect Watkins Glen to be a super bumpy track because it's upstate New York and it's frozen solid, and then, well, it gets frozen and thawed and frozen and thawed and frozen and thawed, and then it freezes solid for like 6 months straight, and then it unfreezes and it thaws and freezes and thaws and freezes and thaws and freezes, like, you know. Does the British drink too much? Now, Mad Triss, I'm going to ask, I assume a B road is something considered like not a highway? And there we go. Now our Pro-Am drivers have started to head out on track. And Justin Sacombe leading this series after 4 rounds. 2 first place finishes out of him. Also a 12th place finish in there, but to be expected when you get caught up in nonsense. Gian Cardoso in second. Steven Tomazic in third right now. Secondary road. Okay. I'm in the U.S., so we have highways, we have state routes, we have county routes, and we have town routes, right? Town roads. State routes are usually pretty well maintained. They're not bad. They're also cleaned more in the winter. County roads, those are second best. You know, they're okay, but they get torn up a little bit easier. And then town roads are just, there might be weeds growing out of the middle of it. And then you go to places like where I grew up and half the roads are dirt. Your boy Blue on track, ready to go. So Jace Wright, the fastest AM class today, going to start in what we will call pole position for them. Currently 6th, missed the last 2 races, but with missing, you know, only here for 2 out of 2 races, finished second in both of them. As your boy Blue jumps back to the pits. Jace Wright only completed 2 races so far, but finished second in both. She's going to obviously give him that 6th place standing right now with 98 points. Got plenty of room to run though, and with that speed, I think we'll see Jace right towards the front. Josie Austin setting a Pro-Am lap of a 134.8. Her first 134 during qual today. There were asphalt roads retro when I was born. I mean, maybe barely, but whatever. Robert Hepburn running 5/10 up on his fastest. Not anymore. Let's take a look at Justin Sacombe. Justin, our current Pro-Am leader. In the 103 M4. Steven Tomazic lights it up there. And that 343 Honda. And with Sacombe coming across, not quite enough. 134.8. About 0.8 off the pace. He's going to have to make up quite a bit of space. Meanwhile, Steven Tomazic looking to extend his lead here at qual. Ed Walsh putting in a nice lap in the McLaren right now. 4/10 up. Not purple for him, but certainly jumping a good bit ahead. Probably up close to the top 5, if not in it, if he can hold on to this. Now 6/10 on this lap. Walsh now only 2/10 up, but wasn't quite able to hold on to all of it. Gaz in the chat, how are you, sir? Edward Walsh able to move himself up into P6, and qualifying now rolls to an end. I hope folks are happy because looking here, Cardoso starting in 17th, Chikuba getting a lap in a 138.5, and Kirk McDaniels unable to clear a lap. Possible quali ban there. Doesn't look as though, because he did go out but scrubbed it, so possible a quali ban for McDaniels. Steven Tomazic up 2/10 on his fastest on his final lap of qualification. Alex Martins, he got held up on his fastest, 136.1 for him. Keep an eye on Tomazic here until the finish, but now a half second off pace. He's going to sit back and hold on to pole position for the start of our AM and Pro-Am drivers today. Your boy Blue up a 10th right now as the cameraman loses his mind. Diesel, can I assume, and again, this is just going to be an assumption, so please don't take it. Are you Josie? In game, are you Josie? I'm going to assume that, but I don't know for sure. Possibly Maria? Or, yeah, right? Your boy Blue jumping himself up into 6th place today. So good on his part. And real quick, folks, we're going to do this. You get to see the sausage made for just a second here. And there we go. Perfect. Get that fixed up so we don't have that border there. We are set for the start of this race today. Steven Tomazic going to lead everyone out on track. Justin Sacombe in second. They shall row 1. Robert Hepburn and Gian Cardoso. Row 2, Josie Austin. Your boy Blue. Row 3, Jace Wright. Jace Wright, an AM class driver. Going to share row 4 with Edward Walsh. Burke Beat. Kenny O'Connor, row 5. Terrell Saints Taylor. John Rulin, row 6. Maria Royachkova and Jester Flump, row 7. Alex Martin, Steven Music, row 8. Frank Reynolds, the Warthog, Chikuba in row 9. And Kirk McDaniels brings up the rear. Okay, you're Chi. Perfect. Thank you. I do get confused with all the names, but thank you so much for letting me know. You see some of our AM class drivers sitting right up there. Jace Wright placing 7th. Really good run for him, and had it in 6th until your boy Blue got there at the end on his final lap to pull that 135.117 just ahead of Wright. Wright very speedy, and I think, you know, provided Wright can stick around for the rest of the season, I think we may see our next, you know, Pro-Am driver. Jace, great pace out on track every time he races. Again, 2 second place finishes and then missed 2 races. Had he not missed those 2 races, I have no doubt he would be up there in first, possibly ahead of Jester Flump in the 999 Vantage. So again, 1 mandatory pit stop during the course of today's race. "30 minutes here. Track temperature of 31 degrees C. It is 15:30 in the afternoon. And again, 31 C on track. So very warm. Very, very warm for these drivers today. Keep those tires right up. Everyone gets set. Take an opportunity to take a look at the manufacturers in today's race and who's where. Tomczyk up the front with the Honda. BMW is well represented in the top 10. Robert Hepburn able to put that Porsche in third during qual. McLaren and Bentley in the top 10 today. Even one Mercedes sneaking in. A relatively good mix. Still a lot of BMWs on track, but a relatively good mix today here at Oulton Park.
10 seconds.
Got a call in the chat from the Lucky Zero saying Alex going to take the win today. I don't know about that. Currently sitting in 15th. Steven Tomczyk leads us off on the formation lap. Keep in mind, folks, we are back next week's race 6 of season 5. We'll be at Indianapolis. We jump all the way across the Atlantic to head for Indy. It'd be a lot of fun. One of the newer tracks in ACC. No one's had a ton of time to practice on it. Obviously has its own challenges, but we'll see how these drivers can pull it together as we head over to the U.S. Don't forget as well, every Thursday, well, most Thursdays, Recovery Drive Thursdays kicks off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. Race review, we'll talk about the previous race. We're going to talk about the upcoming race. We rig roast. We take a look at everybody's rig roasts and we get them out there and show them off for everyone. So join us then, where you can watch it afterwards on YouTube. And Steven Tomczyk in row 1 with Justin Secombe. Justin I believe Justin drove yesterday during the 12 hours of Bathurst. Time of the pole lap. I don't know. Pretty quick. Pretty near quick. Once it's gone from me, guys. I don't memorize them. So, already in the double files, we get ready to kick this race off into T1. The drivers get into that double file coming into Lodge. Maria Kroichkova starting in from the pits today. Guys, the only thing I can tell you is faster than I could go. Let's put it that way. Get ready for racing, folks. About to drop the green flag here at Oulton Park, round 5. As we head down into T1, Justin Secombe. Steven Tomczyk holding the inside. And whoa, both drivers going very wide through there. Wow, but Steven Tomczyk able to hold on. And Robert Hepburn moving up ahead of Secombe. John Rulin with contact further back. But Tomczyk holds on. Secombe dropping a spot to Hepburn. Alex Martin making contact with John Rulin. Secombe looking to take, and Robert Hepburn, whoa, where'd he go? Off into the grass. We've got more tally-ho little more lawn mowing going on here at Oulton. Sacombe, Hepburn, your boy Blue, all with contact. Wow, Edward Walsh wrapped up in some of that. Josie Austin under pressure. Jace Wright moving up. Jace, an AM-class driver, moving up this early in the race and sticking right to the back end of Josie Austin. Frank Reynolds, Edward Walsh come together further back the line as they continue to battle. Burke beat Robert Hepburn now off track again. Not showing contact there, just ran wide and got blown out by Terrell Seans-Taylor and Alex Martin. So Hepburn now down into 12th and losing more. And wow, there it is. Oh no. Yellow flags, guys. Wow. Wow, 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 that was bad. That was very, very bad. Robert Hepburn now in last place, no doubt gonna have to dive right into the pits for repairs. My goodness, that escalated quickly today. Maria Krochkova taking ahead of Jester Fluke now. Terrell Seans-Taylor leading out Alex Martin. That was very rough. Not going to go back and review it now. We'll look at it during Recovery Drive this coming Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. But you got to feel bad for Hepburn. Two drivers coming around the corner, not quite hearing yellow flag and just deciding that was how it was going to be. Kenny O'Connor, Burke beat, closing in on each other now. Chikuba, Robert Hepburn, both into the pits on that. And from there, people have honestly spread out a little. I don't understand how Fluke and Kroyachkova keep passing each other when they're apart by a second. Josie Austin now on the back end of Gian Cardoso. We'll keep an eye up there. Cardoso holding purple in Sector 2 so far. Oh, and Steven Tomazik off into the grass and getting passed right up. Let's rewind that real quick and see. We just caught the end of it. Doesn't look like there was any contact, though. Just found a curb that spun the car. Steven Tomazik dropping off very quickly. That puts Justin Sacombe as our race leader right now. Burke beat Kenny O'Connor going back and forth. A little bit of door banging as these guys trade places. Given the width of the track, that's really not a surprise. Frank Reynolds now yellow flagged and dropping very quickly. Oh, I don't know what Frank did, but the front of that car does not look healthy. Wow. My goodness. Catch back up with O'Connor and beat Connor, taking up P6. Now, the only bad part is, folks, keep it on your screen where it shows those pit stops. It's something you have to remember. This software is not tied to the game for pit stops. It takes an assumption of one mandatory, and it should be 30 seconds long. So since Hepburn and Kuba both cleared a 30-second long pit stop, it's going to show green. However, there should be supposed to be a pit window for this race, which means, yeah, they're still going to have to do that mandatory pit stop. Oh, and a spin right there from Terrell Seans-Taylor. Again, the curbs at Oulton seem to be causing more problems for people than anything else today. Jester Fluke and then Maria Krajachkova coming together. It's Kenny O'Connor, John Rulin, and Steven Tomczak. Form a triplet up here. Kirk McDaniel's now yellow flagged. Trying to get turned around. The hairpin claims a victim. Jester Flume moving ahead of Stefan Music. Get on to Josh Rulin, Steven Tomazik. Tomazik, our pole sitter today. The new fastest lap from Justin Sacombe at a 1:34.025. Yes, Tomazik starting this race in pole position. Catching a spin, ending up all the way back here in P9. So John Rulin, now an AM class driver, looking to hold him back. You know, it's funny though. It's curious to see how long John puts up with this and sits back for the pressure. Again, there's no loss of position for Rulin here. He's still sitting on a podium for AM class today, even if he lets Tomazik on by. Martin and Walsh behind him as well. So it'll be curious to see how long does he play spoiler to the Pro-Am class sitting here, and just to keep on that spot, that hold on to that P8. Now things have settled down a little bit, things have maybe calmed a little as we continue to watch here. Let's take a quick look, however, at the position delta for today and see what that looks like, because it's going to be, I think, a bit of a mess. Justin Sacombe able to take up P1, but if you look there, Robert Hepburn down 15 spots today. Steven Tomazik down 8 so far. 21, just under 22 minutes left to go. As we see there, Tomazik going wide out over the curbing. Yeah, Robert Hepburn Hepburn and Tomazik definitely not having good races today. Really suffering. Our leaders so far, Alex Martin up 5 spots. Jace Wright, an AM driver, sitting in 4th right now, having a great race. In which, let's take a look. Alex Martin and Edward Walsh start to come together. Steven Music off into the Toolies. Terrell Sainz Taylor taking up that spot as Maria Kroyashkova gets by. I gotta say, Music's car is not looking good. That is for sure. Wow. Frank Reynolds looking to stay out until this pit window opens. Kirk McDaniel's looking to make the move on him, and I got to imagine Reynolds just barely trying to hold on here with the damage on the front of that car. McDaniel's able to swing right on by. Kenny O'Connor now going slow, getting passed up by 2 drivers. Everybody trying to stay out until this pit window opens up here in about 23 seconds. Martin and Walsh.
Pit window is opening.
There you have it. Pit window is open. So no doubt we're going to see quite a few drivers dive in today, or very early, just due to damage. See if they can get some of that repaired. Two battles right here together. You see up ahead, Rulin and Tomazik, Martin and Walsh. Oof, getting tight. Getting tight. Edward Walsh with a little contact there. A little bump. Let him know he's there. A little nudge. Maz, it's been brutal. Yeah, you're right, guys. I think we're going to see a lot of position flips just because of damage today. 100%. Alex Martin able to keep Walsh at bay. Frank Reynolds right into the pits. We saw the front of Frank's car. I mean, I'm pretty sure we understand why Frank headed into the pits. Look at it. It's still, to this point, is just brutal. Hopefully that actually fixes itself. Jace right into the pits. Alex Martin heading in now. Again, the pits are going to start. Looking on for an onboard with Chi Kuba. All right, let's go. On board with Chi Kuba. Tis but a scratch. So with the pit window opening, Justin Sacombe continues to lead this race. Gian Cardoso not that far back, 1.5 seconds. That pit stop could make that decision as we watch Chi just a little bit of a shimmy in the back end. That pit stop's going to make the decision between Sacombe and Cardoso. Now, more than likely, they both got out without damage, but 1.5 seconds is not a lot of gap. Takes one little miss of the pit box, and Cardoso can be right up in P1 on this race. And Chi heads into the pits. Try and help me remember there, OG. We will look to go back on board once she comes back out. Catch up with Josh Rulin, however. Kenny O'Connor trying to tighten that gap down. As Sacombe heads into the pits now. Looks like Cardoso staying out. Let's stick with Cardoso for a bit just to see, because again, a 1.5 second gap between them. Your boy blew into the pits now. I don't think either of these guys had damage, so I don't think that's going to become the issue. It's going to be more about how quickly they hit pits. It's a race like this that I wish Phil Milwee was here. Hope he's doing well today in his travels, but he's the pit master. He's the one that can look at the timings and tell you just who's going to be where when it's over. As of right now, the software predictor says Gian Cardoso will be your winner. We'll see if that happens. Like Birthday Beat ended up yellow flagged and out in the Toolies. Sacombe back out in P8 right now. See if Cardoso looks to head into the pits on this lap. Rulin and Walsh looking to do battle. Walsh not quite able to find. Not quite able to find that gap, and decides to head for the pits instead. Cardoso still out there. Josie Austin's still out there. John Rulin, as Tomazic and Beat head into the pits, John Rulin will take up P3. Chai Kuba back out on track, so let's go catch up. We'll get that on board. Let's get in here so we can see the inputs. Maria Kroyachkova into the pits. Steven Tomazic into the pits now. Sacombe jumping back up. So when will Cardoso head in? And what's it going to mean for the end of this race? Pit window closed in less than 5 minutes. Terrell Saints Taylor yellow flagged right now. Kuba giving a great demonstration right there on how to be a blue flag. Get on the straight, be predictable, stay straight, and then let them by. That is exactly what she did. What's up, Squid? Welcome in. There we go. Cardoso now into the pits. So let's jump up to Cardoso. We want to see where he's at. John Ruhlin into the pits now. Let's catch up with Sacombe and see where Sacombe is sitting in relation to the pit window. Stand by, Pixel. I will get you there. Car 6? Cuba? What is it with everybody wanting to go on board with Cuba? We can do that. We'll do it again. You gave me the points. We'll do it. But we're going to look and see here first. Cardoso is coming out of the pits now. And with that, Cardoso is ahead. So there you have it now. I don't have my pit wall up to see what the pit stops look like, but Cardoso able to come out almost 5 seconds ahead of Justin Sacombe. So Josie Austin now the only one up, still running up front, has not yet cleared that pit stop. So we'll be seeing her head in here soon. But you see what a pit stop will do. Cardoso went in 1.5 seconds down. Justin Sacombe able to take it up a notch. Let me bring this, let me get my pit wall up for those of you that can't see it. Exclamation pit wall in the chat. And there we go. Josie Austin now into the pits. So taking a look here, Justin Sacombe's pit stop. As Josie Austin gets in, clears the pit. These guys getting around. Justin Sacombe's pit stop, 1 minute 971 for Sacombe. Cardoso pit stop, a 54.468. Wow. Wow. It's seriously wow. Like a 6-second gap there as McDaniels and O'Connor come together. Kirk McDaniels busted up, looking to clear space, gonna stay out of the pits, but definitely making room. As Alex Martin now up into P8 ahead of John Ruhlin. But that just goes to show you these pit stops, and this is why I've always said a lot of races here at Box 3 we don't use a pit window. It's go whenever you want, right? I think that having that 10-minute pit window brings that action together. We get to see it more versus the wicked undercuts or the wicked overcuts of guys staying out to the last 2 minutes of a race before they take that pit stop. Terrell Saints Taylor able to get around Maria Krojcikova. Krojcikova showing yellow there for a moment. Oh no, Pixel. Justin Sacombe's purple lap time of 1:34.025, Gaz. And oh no, Pixel. You wanted it. You get it. You wanted it, you get it, Pixel. So we go on board with Chikuba for a lap here. And right at the start of one, perfect. Well, the problem there is you're listening to Willie, and that is not something you should do. It's just a bad idea. Don't forget, folks, stick around after the end of this race. 9 minutes, under 10 minutes now left to go. Stick around. Our Pro and Silver class drivers take to Oulton Park right after this. where we get to watch Jake Wells, Anthony Anderson, and Charlie Toots from Australia battle it out for that pro class win. And in silver, we're looking at Glenn Denning, Lewis Ricard, and Gasolina. Gaz, I don't think gonna be here though. Give Mike Burkhoff an opportunity to maybe take up a podium. Chester Fluke now dropping off. Burke beat Kenny O'Connor, able to get around. But Fluke slowing way down. Letting those two around. Now O'Connor and Beat going to go to a little competition. Palm tree in the chat. That is Mr. Charlie Tooth from Australia. Get to watch him race next during our pro and silver class race today. Might bankrupt you, Retro, because they might all go full send. Then you're going to pay out 20 drivers. I guess it's only $100, but still. Now, if we take a look, we talked about Cardoso and exactly how that pit stop got, you know, that 6-second gap on the pit stop got him into first, but Justin Sacombe now only 1.8 seconds back. He has closed that gap very quickly. And still 7 minutes left to go in this race. So Sacombe going to have opportunity here if he can tighten things up in the next few laps. Again, 7 minutes left to go. Should be said. Gaz, are you coming today? I know you said you couldn't race for a while. I didn't know if today was one of them. You're still sitting on podium as of right now. Didn't know if you'd be able to make today's race. Zero, go ahead and just refresh your page. Because a lot of times when that happens, a quick refresh of the page will do that for you. Burke Beat now getting ahead of Kenny O'Connor again. O'Connor fading a little wide early in the corner right there as these guys look to clear back markers. That kind of opened that gap up right there between the wide swing. Between that wide swing and then the back marker kind of splitting them up. But let's get back up front here because Justin Sacombe has just come to within about 1 second of Gian Cardoso. Sacombe, our series leader right now, 173 points to the 155 of Cardoso. This will certainly tighten things up a good bit. Today's race winner, though, overall, I gotta say, Jace Wright, just absolutely fantastic positioning for an AM class driver. If he can hold on to that P4 until the end of this, having a great race. Don Rulin now into the pits for a second stop. Terrell Saints Taylor showing yellow as he takes a walk through the dirt. So guys, you know, we talked earlier about Chi showing great back marker etiquette, right? Got to the straight, got to the side, stayed there, straight line, lifted a little bit. We saw a little bit of a lift there while we were on board. And allowed the faster drivers to clear. I gotta say, Terrell, that's not how you do it, my man. Off into the grass and the dirt is not how you do it. You're much more dangerous that way. Much more dangerous. And so I would encourage you to hold your line, go through the corner, get to the straight, slide to the side, let them bite. Again, even if that means a lift, let that mean a lift. That's okay. I think that's okay. Here we go, folks. A battle to the end. 3 minutes, just under 4 minutes left to go. As Justin Sacombe is now within half a second of Gian Cardoso. Sacombe definitely with the pace here. Since their pit stop, average lap time for Cardoso across these 6 laps, 1:34.8. Sacombe running a 1:34.4, so 0.4 of a second, and we've seen it as this gap has continued to close. Because the one passing doesn't know when you're going back on the road? Yes, basically yes. They don't know what you're doing. They see what you're doing, and I think they understand what you're trying to do. However, predictability is more important, and who in a race would predictably drive off track, right? Nobody does that on purpose. Nobody goes off into the gravel on purpose. So to do so is not being predictable. Sacombe now back to about half a second, but this is going to stay close right to the end. These guys will get at least one more lap in. Jester Floop getting himself into the top 10 as he gets around Berke Beat and Maria Krojcikova. Justin Sacombe right now flat on the day. Gian Cardoso looking to hold on up 3 spots. There'll be 2 more laps here. So Cardoso gonna have to hold on for 2 more laps. Sacombe taking a little bit of a walk in the dirt. Not enough to slow him down, however. Gotta love a battle for first right to the end of the race. We rarely get them. So many of these drivers, so fast they're able to pull away and win these races by 10, 15 seconds. It's great to see a battle right here at the end as Gian Cardoso looks to hold on and take home a win, leaving Justin Sacombe just to sit on second on the podium. Cardoso trying to make that McLaren just as wide as possible. Oh, and a tug through the dirt. Is this going to give the opportunity? A little bit of contact there. It looks like he may have gotten a tap from Sacombe. As we come down to the final minute, as I said, these guys are going to get around fast enough. There's going to be 1 more lap in this race. So Sacombe still having opportunity. The gentleman's agreement played well there. Sacombe allowing Cardoso to hold on to the spot after that tap.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
There it is. Final lap. And we will follow this right to the end. Wow, and Steven Tomazic takes up fastest lap right here at the end with a 1:34.022. I think that beats out. I think that beat out Sacombe by about 0.003 of a second. Josie Austin must be happy that they're going to looking to sit on the podium with the gaps there. Should be able to hold on to that and claim a podium finish today. With Edward Walsh in 7th, that may get her up into 4th in the standings. As Sacombe is looking for the spot, and another little tap as Cardoso gives him a nudge to the outside. Now you got to ask yourself there though, did Cardoso maybe door bang him on purpose? Oh, and another touch and another touch. These guys have decided that this race is going to end badly. Just too much pushing as Justin Sacombe now drops down. Josie Austin going to play him up in 2nd. Jace Wright, an AM-class driver, going to finish on podium here today. Justin Sacombe, no way he is feeling good about that right now. The stewards are going to have something to discuss this week, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. There's going to be a lot to talk about in that entire final lap, because if we go back to the previous one, never mind the spin, the touch and spin. If we go back to Hislop's, right there, it kind of looked to me, and I don't know, you know, who am I, but it kind of looked to me like maybe Cardoso pushed out and gave Suckerman a nudge to the outside. So Cardoso, as of right now, though, your provisional winner. Jody Austin taking second, Jace Wright in third. On the AM class driver sitting on podium today. Fantastic racing. Josie Austin having a great race. Before we get out of here for the next race, let's take a look at the position deltas. Austin up 3, Jace Wright up 4 spots on the day. Unfortunately, Justin Secombe losing 3 after that. But Alex Martin jumping 7 spots today. Excellent job there. Kuba able to hold position over John Rulin. Robert Hepburn, though, probably having the biggest disappointment of today's race, with 12 spots lost due to incidents at the beginning of the race. But let's drop out of here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to head over to our pro class race for the day. Wow, that was a little disappointing. I gotta say. Can I get a refresh list here? I would love to know which track is for the pro race. I assume this one. We're just going to connect to it and see what happens. See where we're at. We got about 1:27 left in the free practice here. So stick around, folks. Pro and silver class racing is coming up here in just a few moments. We'll get qualification underway. Jake Wells already out on track. Diesel officially hates this track. I don't blame you. It's not one of my favorites, I'm telling you. It just bothers me. Bothers me. So again, let's take a look at the free practice here. Charlie Tooth leading out so far. The 133.697. I'll say it again. She was very professional as a backmarker. Thought that was fantastic, and I love to see it. Charlie Tooth sitting in the pits. Jake Wells out. Tobias Gable with a 133.777. Very good to see Gable up there in the top 3, even during a free practice. We'll see how he does during qual, but great numbers right there. That's fantastic. The 951 car of Nikolai Tsiobuk sitting in the grass before heading back to the pits here at the end of free practice. What did he do to that Audi? Look at that livery. My goodness. Whoa. Tobias, you and I have to have a conversation. Desecrated that Audi. I don't like it. I liked your old one. The orange was fantastic. What did you do? Jake Wells showing purple right now. Tense up on his fastest. And that will not get it done there. No, it does. It looks good. TG's liveries always look good. I like the orange just because I'm particular to orange. So I really enjoyed the look of the orange Audi that he has been driving up until this point, I guess. So let's look at it real quick, folks, here as we wait for qualifying to shut down or to get started. Silver class drivers, Timothy Glendinning leads us out, currently ahead in the standings. Louis Ricard is in second with Gazolina, but Gaz isn't here this week, sitting on the podium. Mike Burkhoff and Igor Kornikov round out your top 5. Comiskey, Tsiobuk, Isar, Walrath, and Rivera round out the top 10 in silver. Let's talk about pro standings for just a moment. Jake Wells, you saw him there on your screen a few minutes ago. Jake Wells leading the series at this point with 196 points. Anthony Anderson in second with 170. Charlie Tooth, 165. So Charlie in a position, if Anderson makes a mistake or if Charlie can beat him out here the last 3 races, looks to take second from Anthony Anderson. Tobias Gable sitting in 4th. Tom Foose in 5th. Aguilar, who I don't believe will be here today. Aguilar in 6th. Rumbout, Jarrett Skinner, Paul Morris, and Delilah Hazel round out your top 10. Has Hazel returned? Hazel's been missing the last 2 races. I love watching Delilah Hazel race. She's done a really good job. We haven't seen much of her since, so unfortunately I do not see her on track today. That's a shame. As you see TG in the chat, always listening, always knowing. TG's always got you somewhere. I love it. No, TG, it is a fancy livery. As I said, I'm just not I'm not used to it. I really enjoyed the orange. So with that, folks, I'm going to take a quick step away here during this qualifying session. Be back in plenty of time for the race. So everybody stick around. Pro and Silver Class Racing for 45 minutes is coming up right after this qualifying session. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank all the drivers for being out there today. Bit of a rough one in AM and Pro-Am today. And we'll see if our Pro and Silver drivers, after a horrible week at Nürburgring last Sunday, we'll see if our Pro and Silver Class drivers can tighten things up a little bit this week and have a clean race here at Oulton Park. Stick around, folks. I will be right back. All right, folks, we are back. Anderson leading out right now, 133.312. Very speedy boy here at Oulton Park today. Paul Morris sitting in second position right now with a 133.4. This obviously one of his better tracks. Good on Paul Morris, my goodness. As you see, all drivers out on track today are silver class. Jake Wells now taking over in pole position over Anderson by about 0.2 of a second. Again, Wells leading this series. One first place finish, 2 second place. Anderson with a first place, a third. A good amount of points between the two of them. Charlie Booth getting bumped to 4th now. Currently running about a 10th up on his fastest. Tobias Gable in 6th, about a 10th up. Adam Willie having a good qualifying session right now, 0.2 up. See if he's able to bring himself a little higher. Willie, a silver class driver. Currently sitting in the top 5. Not a bad run when you're silver, when you're a class down and still able to place top 5 during qual. As Willie drops back to the pits, let's take a look at Paul Morris again. Tim Glendinning, current leader in silver class. There's quite a few drivers behind him. Apparently this is not one of his favorite tracks. Rob Kesar returns. That 992 Porsche. Adam Willie in the chat saying he lost steering in the last turn. Hopefully a temporary hardware issue. A great placement for him right now. Silver class driver sitting in 6th out of a few pros. Jake Wells continues to lead here with just over 6 minutes left in this qualifying session as he heads off into the Toolies and back to the pits. I love when those guys do that to me just as I put camera on them. It's fantastic. Anthony Anderson in 2nd. Again, about 2/10 off pace. Now you see that purple starting to flash though. Anderson may be finding some pace here. He needs the full 2/10 to get into pole position. And right now sitting at about 1, now flat on this lap. Anderson not able to pull it off that lap. Only a little under 4 left to go here. Check in with Charlie Booth. Amazing Charlie can run with this. I tease the guy, but he is from New Zealand and the ping times are just absolutely atrocious for him. I can't imagine it makes it easy sometimes, the kind of maybe stutters and things that he gets. And there it is, Anderson able to pull it off into first position, a 133.042 over Jake Wells, and he will keep that inside line if he can hold on here at the end. Anderson able to pump it up. And now dives back into the pits. Maybe going to sit on it. We'll see if Wells is able to do anything. So far, Wells not showing us purple during the course of these laps he's been running. Anderson not done, though, coming back out of the pits. Matt Comiskey right now up 6/10. Nikolai Tsiobuk up 5 on their fastest. Tom Foose right now sitting in 20th, but a 1.2 seconds up. Where Tom's able to put himself here before the end of this. We'll check in with Foose in that purple monster he's got. See where that gets him. Tom Foose able to jump up into 9th with that time. Well, good run there. Rose Gaming gifting subs out to your boy Blue. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated with that gifted sub. So far, no one able to touch Anthony Anderson's time. Charlie Booth running up about 2/10. He feels able to get himself into the top 3 here. Well, he's got a little bit further to walk now as Tom Foose brings it together to get into the top 3. And qualifying comes to an end. Charlie running a 10th up. Tom Foose still out there. 2/10 up right now. Nobody showing purple. Charlie Booth moves himself up into P5 with that lap. They had it to Tobias Gable. Tom Foose tapping on purple. You saw it flicker there for just a second on your screen. Now only able to hold about a 10th. Doesn't look like Foose is going to get himself anywhere with that lap as he goes to flat just as we come to the end of the session. The order is set. We are ready for 45 minutes of driving here at Oulton Park Pro and Silver Class Racing. Anthony Anderson will share row 1 today with Jake Wells. Tom Foose gets himself into 3rd with Paul Morris for row 2. Charlie Booth, Tobias Gable, row 3. Rob Kesar, Adam Willey, row 4. Lewis Ricard, Jarrett Skinner, row 5. Rocky Rocco, Brandon Walworth are going to share row 6. Rick Pixel, Timothy Glendening, our current, silver leader, row 7. Nick Paquin, Mike Burkhoff, row 8. Igor Kornikoff, Matt Comiskey, row 9. Nikolai Tsiabuk and Ridian Lloyd Davis, row 10. 20 drivers at Oulton Park can get scary. Just a tad. Anderson going to lead this parade today, though. Have that inside line. So our first race, a little off here at Oulton Park. The Pro-Am and Am drivers struggling with curbs and struggling to stay away from each other in some cases. We had a great couple lap battle there for P1 that ended in disaster for several people. Well, now we get to see if the Pro and Silver class drivers can do any better. Rob Kesar, P7. A great qualifying run for him today in the Porsche. Tobias Gable sitting in 6th, same thing. And even to watch Foose across that entire 20 minutes, you know, Foose really showing nothing until the last 5, where he went from 20th to 3rd. Hopefully, again, these class of drivers going to take things a little smoother. Well, the thing is, TG, it wasn't turn 1 in the previous race that was the problem. It was a little deeper in. A little deeper in. Anderson in the chat saying this is his first box 3 pole. Good job, man. You beat him out today, beating Jake Wells. And I got to say, Anderson and Wells definitely in competition. Only 26 points separating them in the standings right now. 3 races left to go. Yeah, Anderson, great that he won pole today. 45 minutes of racing, says he is going to have to keep Jake Wells at bay for a long, long time. That may not be easy. We get ready now for our formation lap to kick this off. As always, folks, we're back next week. Indianapolis, we jump across the pond to the United States to head for Indy. Same time, same channel, 30 minutes and 45 minutes of racing respectively. And then all coming to a head on March 5th, 6 p.m. UTC, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bathurst. 60 minutes of AM and Pro-Am racing and 90 minutes of Pro and Silver. Fuel and tires mandatory. It's going to be a fantastic race. And if you want to talk about the AM and the Pro-Am race, and for that, all that matters, the Silver and Pro race after this, join us Thursday nights. Recovery Drive hits at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We were going to review this week's races with some of the drivers, some of the other folks around the league. We'll talk about the next race. We'll talk about Indianapolis coming up, along with chilling out, talking to each other, rig roasting, everybody's rigs they got going. So join us Thursday nights for that, or watch on YouTube the following day. Anthony Anderson leads us out here at Oulton today. We drop into double file, getting set to go. 45 minutes of racing at Oulton Park will kick off. We talked about it. This track is so narrow, and we know exactly how aggressive these Pro and Silver class drivers can be, folks. Man, fingers crossed we do a little better in the first lap than the AM and Pro-Am guys did. Anderson, Jake Wells, going to be a run down to turn 1. And we are off to the races. Let's keep her pulled back here for just a minute. Anderson able to swing out. Oh, and takes a push from Wells. That's some tires. Anthony Anderson dropping off quickly. Wow, and a push from Wells is going to cause it. Look at all the contact. Luckily, most of it looks very light. You see the cars there. There is contact as oh no, somebody goes spinning off. Is that Kornikov, I believe, went flying off into the dirt. And now Tom Foose will take up position at the front of this race with Tobias Gable and Paul Morris right behind him. Even Jake Wells after that dropping back to P5. Rob Kesar stays in P6, and look at the line of cars behind him. As a run up the hill, Louis Ricard looking for a gap. Ricard with the outside line, just trying not to nudge over. The tires are a-flying, and everybody's bouncing through the chicane. Nick Paquin dropping back. Oh, and a cut across the track there. Who was that? Rocky Rocco, I believe. No, don't know who that was, but we had more contact through there. You see it there on your screen. But Rob Kesar gets himself right in P6 and has to deal with Louis Ricard right off the jump. And Ricard able to make the play on Kesar up the inside. As Jarrett Skinner drops hard. Contact, and now Adam Willie's leading this race. What is going? No, he's not. Tom Foose continues to lead this race. I don't know what is going on with that software. This is insane. Look at the contact flags just a-flying. Tom Foose continuing to lead this race right now. Brandon Walrath now going to deal with Glendenning and Riddian Lloyd Davis. Davis getting himself up into P14 off the start of this. There we go. Things fix themselves, and Adam Willey is back in P20 right now. And a hammer right there. Brandon Walrath just a hammering. Nick Paquin. What was that as Timothy Glendenning's able to get ahead? What was that? You're right, Steadfast. Kesar back ahead of Louis Ricard. Hard to keep up when these guys are this close. Riddian Lloyd Davis gets ahead of Nick Paquin. Brandon Walrath getting around as well. Mike Burkhoff as Rocky Rocco slides down, yellow flagged. And more incidents continue to cross your screen. Paul Morris setting a new fastest lap. Paul Morris with the first, no, not the first, but a 133. And now Anderson gonna have to deal with Jarrett Skinner. Yeah, a couple 133s. Jake Wells, 133.855. This early in the race. Lloyd Davis now dropping back hard and yellow flagged. Contact with Brandon Walrath possible. A lot of damage out there today, boys. Holy cow. Lloyd Davis now with Igor Kornikov right behind him. Just an absolute cornucopia of collisions and door bangs throughout those first two laps. Maybe things calm down a little bit. I would not trust the messages you brought on your screen. I think there's just been so many to display that it's been taking a while to get them all out. We've seen no more contact here recently, but Tom Foose, after all of that, Tom Foose now setting a new purple lap for the race of a 133.7, leads this out. Tobias Gable in that fancy new livery, running in second now, about a second and a half back from Foose, with Paul Morris in third. So we've seen quite the toss-up here at Oulton Park today. Absolute bananas in both of these races as Charlie Booth now closes in on Paul Morris. Now, Listen, Paul Morris, typically a mid-pack racer, to be sitting in the top 3 is fantastic for him. But I guess I'm one of those more passive drivers. If I know you're behind me and I know you're faster, if I know at some point you're going to find the play, I'm probably going to play that defense for a while, right? I want to try and keep the position, be a little aggressive. But at some point, I'm going to get tired of the shenanigans behind me, and I'm probably going to let you sneak by. It's just my attitude, right? That's just me. So we'll see how Paul does. Charlie Booth, a very aggressive but very clean driver here at Box 3. So no doubt going to start applying pressure to Paul. And here's the other part. Well, to your point, Steadfast, you don't want to lose time defending. Here's the other part. You've got Jake Wells right there too, right? So if you're going to open the door, do you open the door for both of them? And it looks like Charlie Booth making his play here. Little bit of a nudge on the grass there. Paul Morris holding his line, doing a great job of defending this. But now Jake Wells, our current series leader, just tightening that up too. So it's going to get real curious real fast, the kind of pressure these two are going to see. If I'm Charlie Booth, I got to deal with Wells in my rear view. I know that ping. It's brutal. But so far, Paul Morris doing a fantastic job holding these two guys at bay, keeping them behind him in the rear view mirror of that Porsche. Charlie Booth looking around the outside. And, oh, Paul Morris turning in. That's going to let Jake Wells sneak by. Charlie Booth pushing around as Morris takes up position right in the middle of the chicane. Need to let drivers go through. It looked to me like he turned in. Now, again, I am not a steward. That is not a stewarding. That is a stewarding decision should they receive the incident. But it looked to me like Morris turned in a little bit on Charlie and would have caused a bit of that problem right there. But now Nikolai Tsiabuk, Paul Morris falling behind to P13 behind Nikolai Tsiabuk after that. Well, let's talk about it. Tom Foose continues to lead this race. Tobias Gable holding the gap on Foose to 1.5 seconds so far. That really has not changed in the last few laps. And now Paul Morris is going to have to contend with Mike Burkhoff and Ridian Lloyd-Davis behind him as Kornikov starts to slide down behind Rick Pixel. Nick Paquin now is going to feel pressure from Nikolai Tsiabuk. Rocky Rocco having already made a pit stop today. Turn the pit stop markers on now, though, as we wait for that pit window to open here during the course of this race. Again, Nick Paquin there leading Nikolai Tsiabuk. Well, Alex, didn't they do the same for Watkins Glen, though? Because I believe the Glen was removed from the schedule this year, wasn't it? Because I actually wanted to go to that race, and I thought it was removed. I could be wrong. Oh, and Nikolai Tsiabuk, Paul Morris making contact back here. Morris holding on for now, but it looks like Tsiabuk's going to make his way around. Nikolai deciding to take the greener pasture and dropping back hard. Mike Burkhoff, and Lloyd-Davis both able to get around him. But why not side by side at Oulton Park? It's always going to work out well for everybody. Here we go. Towards the hairpin as Lloyd Davis takes up the spot, but ends up going wide. He'll still hold that inside line. Oh, okay. So maybe just for 1 year for the Glen being removed. It's like 4 hours away. I'd like to go to a race, and I just haven't had a chance yet. Paul Morris makes it around Nick Paquin. Yeah, I could go to the 6 hour. I see that one every year, the 6 hours at the Glen. I could head down for that, maybe. Louis Ricard heading into the pits now. That's odd, I would say. A little early, unless there's no pit window set for this race. I'm not 100% sure, but check in on Charlie Booth real quick. Tom Foose continues to lead. Tobias Gable in second. Jake Wells in third. Charlie here running in fourth so far. Davis and Burkhoff continue to run together. Let's take a look at the position deltas so far after all the nastiness, after all the horribleness. Louis Ricard down 10 spots, but also in the pits at this point. Paul Morris losing 6. Anthony Anderson losing 5. Meanwhile, where is Adam Willie gets around Matt Comiskey, taking up that spot. There's Skinner up 3 spots today. Timothy Glendinning having a good race, up 6 spots on the day. But my goodness. Checking on Comiskey and Willie now. Wow, tight race in here is Comiskey. Willie both get around Tiabook and fight their own battle. That got weird for a second. Hopefully we don't see more of that today. I think Willie might be having bigger ping problems than even Charlie Booth right now. What is going on here? Lloyd Davis gets around Nick Paquin a little further up, take up P11. Yeah, that's some iRacing nonsense right there. I've seen that before. Welcome in, Theo. Yeah, I think that would make anybody extremely nervous. It looks a little stabilized now. We haven't seen any more jumps. We'll see if this continues. But with Comiskey, Willie, and Tiabook right here, let's keep the action focused. We will have to jump up here in just a second, though. Jarrett Skinner under pressure from Tim Glendinning. Oh, you saw this on your recommended, Theo? That is fantastic. Thank you for being here. And I just looked over. Thank you for the follow. We don't have any pop-ups here because we tend to... Whoa, that looked like a tap. Nick Paquin now sliding back as he came together with Mike Burkhoff. As Willie and Comiskey trade places, and a push there and a spin from Willie as he door bangs Matt Comiskey. Comiskey going to be able to continue on, takes up P14, but Adam Willie sliding back to P18 now. needs to get himself back on track. Tom Foose continues to run out front today, ladies and gentlemen. Bias Gable in second. Jake Wells bringing up third. Interestingly enough, you know, very interesting here. Jake Wells about to come under pressure from Booth. But what I find even more interesting is the fact that Wells has not really closed the gap on Gable at all. He leads this season right now for the pro class. We saw him take second in qualifying. Gable qualifying, what was he, 6th or 7th? And yeah, still, Gable, he's not able to really close the gap tight up on Gable, which I figured might happen. Looks like Nick Paquin, Kornikov get around Comiskey. There's contact there. A little front spoiler damage from the chicane. Gotcha. Okay. I'm just saying if he was fast, he probably would have caught him. No, I'm teasing. Rocky Rocco continues to sit in the pits here today at Oulton Park. But anyway, Theo, I wanted to let you know we're back pretty much every Sunday. We've got 2 more races left in this season, and then there might be a little hiatus in there, but we will be back for season 6 of Box 3 Motorsports GT3 Racing every Sunday at around 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Booth slipping back a little bit now. Let's go check in on Rob Keesar. Anthony Anderson has now tightened that gap up. Anderson qualifying on pole today, got scooped up in an incident during the first lap. Rob Keesar having a great race, a silver class driver sitting in the top 5. Oh, you're in Finland. Excellent. Listen, we have members and watchers from all around the world. We welcome everybody. Hope you stick here with us. Keep an eye out for special events, endurance races, all kinds of fun stuff. And every Thursday, recovery drive. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, though. 8 p.m. Eastern, kind of probably late for you, Theo, but you can watch it afterwards on YouTube. We do post that over to our YouTube channel. Rob Keesar, Anderson able to get clear, but now Charlie Booth starting to close in on Wells again. Paul Morris into the pits with the windows open. Mike Burkhoff heading in. Igor Kornikov as well. Nikolai Tsiabuk. Onboard view with Jake Wells. We can do that. Let's go. I'll tell you what, hold on there, Mazzino. I'm gonna wait until, let's make sure he's not going into the pits on this lap. He stays out of the pits, we'll go ahead and then we'll get a full lap in on the onboard. Anderson now dropping back, and yeah, okay, so we got to hold on to the Jake Wells onboard. Let's check in on Anderson, though. Anderson dropping back. Now, what happened out here? Because I saw no contact reported. But a whole big mix-up. So Anderson now back into P6 as he comes into the pits. Tom Foose continues to lead today. Just over 25 minutes left to go as Adam Willey and Matt Comiskey battle it out. You're from the U.S. working to move there? Oh, that is fantastic. I want to be an expat too, Theo, so I feel you. I really do. What the hell? Why did my thing not do its thing? So with the pit stops starting, folks, things jumbling around here a little bit. Now we saw this during the AM and the Pro-Am race. The gap here between Gable and Foose is a little bit wider, but I'm curious to see. I will be very curious to see how things jumble up as people finish out the pit stops. Remember, this is only a 10-minute pit stop window. Charlie Booth now heading in. And I'm Willie continuing to feel it now from Jake Wells. Now, if I'm Willie, I'm no kidding. I mean, look, Wells dipped in for the pit stop. This is why he's in P10 right now. If I'm Willie, I'm letting him by. The first straight I get to, I'm letting him flow. Yeah, I'll probably do the same. My wife is actually Canadian, so we're probably going to look to move there upon retirement. But my kids are still in school, and I'm not going to move my kids out of their school. So, but yeah, definitely looking to expat. 100%. As I said, though, I mean, look, listen, all hats off to Adam Willie holding Wells at bay. But if I'm gonna be Adam Willie, I am not gonna play games. And there we go, drive through the number 447 car, Nick Paquin. He has cleared that. But Willie is brave to try and hold someone with Jake Wells' pace at bay. Good for him. With that, folks, I will take another quick step away here while the pit stops roll. Thank you again so much for joining me. Don't go away. We're going to finish out this race. I am taking a step away. The race is not over. We'll keep eyes right here and try and catch all the action for you. Be back in about 3 minutes.
We are halfway through, not over yet. is now closed.
Boy Wells running it out right there. Clearing back markers. Let's go. With pit stops clear, we now have a much clearer picture of the end of this race. Tom Foose continues to lead. Looks like Gable closed up a little bit during the course of that pit stop. As Charlie Booth continues to sit about 5 seconds back from Gable. Jake Wells doing everything he can to get back up front. I don't think it's going to work out today. Anthony Anderson now, after all the pits, dropping back to 8th place. Disappointing set of circumstances for Anderson today. Qualified in first, got caught up in action in the first lap. The stewards will be busy this week. And yes, Brandon Walworth did jump Keesar. You are correct. Thank you, Steadfast. Walworth leads out in 5th now. Rob Keesar, though, still having a great race in 6th. Both these guys leading some of the pro drivers in silver class. Rob Keesar, I can't speak on Brandon Walworth. He hasn't been around as long, but Keesar, one of the guys that's been around, I believe all 5 seasons of Box 5 for a year and a half now. And you've really seen his game step up. This is someone who we may find in the pro split next season here at Box 3. Did I say Box 5? I might have said Box 5. This will be a long day. Rob Keesar doing well. Charlie Booth slowed down a little bit on track. Jake Wells able to close in. Is Booth going to be able to hold on to a podium today? I believe I still owe I owe an onboard with Jake Wells, and now is the perfect time to do it as he tightens up on Charlie Booth and the game decides to fade itself in. Let's go on board for this lap with Jake Wells. Charlie Booth, another driver that's been around with Box 3 for quite a while. Very aggressive, but very clean. Even with that ping, I don't know how he does it, but definitely able to hold on and is doing very well to keep Jake Wells in the rearview mirror during the course of this race. Wells, our current season podium sitter, or pole sitter, I should say, as Paul Morris now dropping back. Another yellow flag for Morris as he sinks back to 8th position. Charlie Booth now running away a bit from Wells. You have it on board with Mr. Jake Wells in the number 84 car. But Booth doing a fantastic job keeping him behind him. Anderson now running in P7. Paul Morris at 1.5 back. Just over 12 minutes left in today's race as we take a look at the position delta for these guys. Anderson down 6 on the day. Paul Morris 4. Adam Willey down 5 spots. He's come back a bit. We have lost 3 drivers so far during the course of the race. But the rest, looking here, Tom Foose up to Tobias Gable. Fantastic with +4 on the day. Brandon Walrath, same thing, +7. Rydian Lloyd Davis, look at this guy, started in 20th today, up to P10, gonna finish with, gonna maybe grab a top 10 finish if he can hold on. So a great race for Davis. Tobias Gable now within 2 seconds of Tom Foose. He is doing work. Let me get over to the pit wall real quick and let's see if we can highlight these guys and take a look. So just since the pit stop, if we take a look here, Tom Foose, give me 1 second, look at these average lap times to come up. Honestly, Retro, I don't know. Have not heard from Delilah Hazel in at least 2 or 3 weeks, and has not been around for a race. So I would hope she didn't drop out. Fantastic racer, awesome to watch on stream, a lot of fun to watch. So I would certainly hope not, but you never know. So let's take a look here. Gable running 133.821 averages since the pit stop. Tom Foose with a 134.082. So Gable able to close in by about 2 to 3 tenths per lap. Now, we just hit the 10-minute mark. I don't know if it's enough, but he is certainly doing a good job as Paul Morris gets spun around. The yellow flags will fly. Glendenning and Davis able to take up position. Paul Morris going to stay in the top 10 for now. Jarrett Skinner only about 2 seconds back, however. Steadfast, that's a fake thing. It doesn't exist. It's not real. That's not real. There's no such thing as the commentator's curse. Me speaking cannot make someone wipe out. I'm sorry. That's just not true. Anderson's starting to close in on Keesar now. Anderson tightening down fast on Rob Keesar. We've watched Keesar make that 992 very wide today. He is punching above his weight class, that is for sure. Looks like this time Anderson's going to make the sneak up the inside, though. Get himself back up into P7. So Anderson able to get around, take up P6. But I mean, to be fair, different classes, right? Again, if I'm Keesar, how hard am I going to fight for something that's not going to nail me more points at the end of the day? Keesar having a great race. Now let Anderson go put his focus on Walrath. to try and get himself back up to Wells before the end of this. But, you know, overall, fantastic pass. Great run. Matt Comiskey getting around Igor Kornikov. I think Kornikov might have dropped. We're down to 16 drivers here, as I am unable to highlight him. So he will be going off our list in just a moment. And there he goes. The 4 drivers dropped today. Well, that's provided that Anderson can catch Walrath and provide him a challenge here in 6.5 minutes. I agree with you. Keysar should be pushing as hard as he can to keep on the back of Anderson. And because don't forget the open door policy, if one's going to sneak through, it's possible that 2 are going to make it as well. So the closer Keysar can stay to Anderson, if they're able to get up on the back of Walrath before the end of this race, there's a good chance that should Walrath open the door for Anderson, Keysar can stick his foot in and get through it as well. Possible. We're looking at a 4th place finish today for Anderson in class, and just going to drag him down a little bit. Kind of a shame again with qualifying on the pole today. Jarrett Skinner, Adam Willey now going to go to battle. As Willey just blasts by up the inside. Not quite enough though. He looked like he had to back down early. Little contact between them too. Just a love nudge, little door tap. But Willey with that inside line, but cannot quite make enough to get around Skinner. As Rick Pixel gets around Paul Morris dropping to 11th. Oh, and a nudge there again. Oh, was that a turn in? Let's try and jump back real quick. Let's take a look at it. Willey up the inside, and yeah, a little bit of a turn in from Skinner. But as we said, stewards will make those decisions. We just try and call it here a little bit. Jarrett Skinner dropping now behind Adam Willey, 4.6 seconds. That's going to be hard to make up in the next 4.5 minutes. Tom Foose running away with it, staying out of trouble in that first lap, leading over Tobias Gable. Gable not now able to close the gap. Maybe tires getting a little thin on him. But if I'm TG, I'm sitting back going, I'm okay. I'm okay. It's fine. I don't need to run him down right now. Tobias Gable sitting in 4th, Tom Foose in 5th. So these guys run very close together. With Foose a race down, you know, Gable only up by 3 points. This may trade them spots, but with Anderson falling back and Jake Wells falling back, Charlie Booth finishing a little bit further back. Well, I mean, Booth is sitting in 3rd. He's had 2 second place finishes and a 3rd and a 10th this season. Either way, Gable's got to be happy with this performance. There's nothing he can do about Tom Foose being able to jump into 1st. Due to issues at the beginning of this race, or I should say incidents at the beginning of this race. But Gable's done a fantastic job keeping that 188 Audi right where it needs to be. Walrath and Anderson now. Anderson catching Walrath, and there it was. Anderson able to get himself up into 5th. Does not help him points-wise. But we've now got 5 pro drivers in the top 5 with Walrath falling back. And to the point, Keesar not that far back. Only 2 minutes left to go. We're going to be on final lap here soon. It'll be a question of whether or not Walrath can keep pace with Anderson or not. Well, Theo, I'm glad you're here. Don't leave us for F1. You can watch both, right? Twitch on a phone, F1 on TV. I'm just saying. Don't leave us for F1. There's a lot more action here. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun. I don't know what the command is to bring up the Discord. I guess I'm just gonna have to go grab the link and post it for you. If you are interested, folks, if you're a driver, you're a fan, and you want to join us, I encourage you to do so. Box3 Motorsports, come and find us on Discord. You're welcome to just come and watch, but this way you can get notified of when races are taking place, special events, things of that nature. Rob Keesar closing it up. I want to keep the camera focused right here. We'll take a look because Charlie Booth might be under pressure from Wells here in just a moment. But as of right now, this is where I want to keep it. Keesar is closing this gap. No, I was teasing you, Theo. I understand. Listen, we have a lot of drivers who will miss races because of F1, so I get it. 100%, you're good. And Rob Keesar is shutting it down now. We got 2 battles going. Jake Wells looking for a podium. And Keesar taking the runaway just to make sure there's no contact here. There should be one more lap for these guys. Two races, 2 great battles right at the end for first and second in class. Rob Keesar giving Brandon Walrath the business right there. Oh my goodness. Keesar looking for the shot. It wasn't quite there. And there it is. Tom Foose is the winner of the pro race here at Oulton Park this week. Season 5 of Box3 Motorsports continues next week in Indianapolis. But we're not done. This battle is shaken down right here. For all the marbles of the silver class. Rob Keesar looking for any opportunity to get around Brandon Walrath. Question becomes, does Keesar pull full send? Tobias Gable in second, Charlie Booth in third. That's your podium. Jake Wells in fourth, coming across the line. Keesar just not able to find the opportunity to get around clean, but oh, could it happen here? Oh, Keesar pulling ahead. Rob Keesar shooting the line at the end and takes up 6th position, P1 in class over Brandon Walrath. Right there it was. Got him. Awesome driving right to the end of this race. My goodness. Anthony Anderson finishes 5th. Rob Keesar, we just watched it. Rob Keesar in 6th. Tim Glendinning finishing in 8th. Brandon Walrath in 6th. Wow, that was some good racing right there. Absolutely fantastic. As we bring another race to the end, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all so much for being here. You guys are fantastic. Great racing right to the end in class. That was fantastic. Hey, but before we go, I want to talk to you all about something real quick, if you would oblige me. One of our members, Mr. Dylan Dunn, he's a great guy. He's done on the Discord server, is raising money right now for cancer research. He is actually going to be fighting in a boxing match in Colorado that I'm hoping is going to be live streamed, because if it is, I'm going to cover it on the Discord. Y'all are going to want to be there. I'm going to commentate Dylan's fight on the Discord. And don't worry, he hasn't been in any fights yet. His face always looks like that. But if anyone is looking to contribute, we're always looking to do good stuff at Box 3. It's what we do. The league was started because of a charity race. We do charity races every year, and I just want to support Dunn. So I threw this up there so that we could give that man a little support in raising money for cancer research. Coming up, where is it here? June 14th at 7:30 p.m. is when his fight will be. There will be more details coming. I stay in touch with Dylan all the time, and we'll know all about it. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate every one of you being here. You guys are fantastic. Don't forget, we're back next week at Indianapolis, and we're here on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Recovery Drive. And as always, for people like Theo who are over in Europe, that might be difficult to catch races or to catch Recovery Drive because it's so late, races and the shows are always posted to our YouTube channel. You can find that just by searching Box3 Motorsports on YouTube, and you'll be able to catch all that stuff afterwards, after the fact. I'll start uploading the race almost as soon as we're done. So again, thank you folks so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to the drivers for providing a fantastic racing environment today. We love it, and we will see you Thursday for Recovery Drive, and back here Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard for Indianapolis for the penultimate race of Season 5 here at Box 3 Motorsports. Stick around, folks. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.